every EV stock you can imagine, everybody's trying to guess the next big moonshot, and Fisker is one that is making some moves, money moves. My name is Paul Barron, and this is Techpath. We're going to jump into Fisker's new deal that they just released with none other than Foxconn. Now, you know Foxconn because they make the Apple iPhone, but they also do some other things, and that is they develop and have started to potentially produce a new car for Fisker. This is going to be a big deal. 250,000 vehicles per year, assembly of an unnamed vehicle, which is expected to start in the fourth quarter of 2023. That's fairly new. But the fact that Fisker is going after what I think is one of the preeminent manufacturers of technology worldwide, these guys are definitely in the top, I would say top 3 or 4, potentially for something like an EV. So it's going to be an interesting capacity for what Fisker and Foxconn are doing. A statement that I thought was interesting was this is going to be a new segment vehicle. Now, what does that mean? A new segment vehicle could be something completely away from passenger vehicles. I mean, if you look at the market of where EVs are, you have your micro EVs starting all the way down from your 3-wheel to, you know, the super micro cars into what we have now, which are really kind of the normal passenger vehicles, and now moving up to products like Canoe and some of those more utility style vehicles, and then jumping into the luxury vehicles. So is this a new segment? That'll be interesting, or is it just maybe reinventing a segment that maybe is already there and doesn't have a lot of coverage? We'll see how that kind of plays out. They are going to create, or what they're stating is they're going to create a vehicle that crosses social borders while offering a combination of advanced tech, desirable design, innovation, value for money. All of this is delivering commitment to creating the world's most sustainable vehicles. That's obviously Fisker's goal, which I think is kind of in line with about every CEO that's in the EV marketplace. The company also said that the deal is codenamed Project PEAR. I hope this is nothing in relationship to the way it looks. Personal Electric Automotive Revolution is really what it stands for. This is expected to close in the second quarter of this year, and it would be Fisker's second major deal in recent months, which I think is a big deal. The company also already had a deal with the auto supplier Magna to produce the Fisker Ocean, which is its first expected vehicle. Magna is kind of a cool company. If you think about what Magna is doing, they're currently producing contracts for BMW, Mercedes or Daimler, Jaguar, Land Rover, and Toyota. So you can imagine the kind of quality that Magna has to produce to be able to sustain productivity or production for those kinds of companies. So the Ocean, these are some really good moves, I think, by Fisker in terms of quality, because that is going to be something that I think a lot of people will start to address. It's already a big deal with Tesla, is quality control, and the whole idea. I mean, if you've watched enough YouTube videos, you know that people go after Tesla for their panel gaps and all sorts of quality control issues. I've had that myself on my own Model Y. It's definitely something that people need to pay attention to, and I know that Tesla is moving in that direction of improving, but when you have companies like Magna and Foxconn, now Foxconn's a little different because they don't have the lineage of manufacturing automobiles, but they definitely have the lineage of doing great design and manufacturing when it comes to tech. And I think if they can convey that and move with Fisker's designers and also go in that direction, maybe with what many automobile designers are doing now, which is really kind of re-ramping their whole engineering departments. But if they can kind of move in that direction by partnering up with these two companies, I think this is a good move for Fisker. It's probably going to continue to drive their stock. If I was buying Fisker today and I don't own Fisker, I would probably take a look at this company, especially as they start to roll out. Again, and I say this often, if you're looking at some of these companies, whether it's Lucid or Fisker or others, NIO, that are really kind of in the pre-phase to actually releasing a vehicle for the open market, those are the big question marks. I always advise you to dive into not only their slideshows or their slides of some of their pitches that they're doing when they're going out to raise money, but also dive into some of their analysis, because I think sometimes it reveals areas in these companies that maybe are not necessarily something they would want you to kind of, and or the press to really kind of know. Fisker, may not necessarily have that situation, but in my concern with Fisker is whether or not they can get to market fast enough. Even though I think the Ocean will probably be a vehicle that will be something very special, especially, and you've probably seen it. It's great styling, and of course with the selection of Magna, this could be an interesting car. Obviously, we don't have a ton of specs on that. I want to do a video on the Ocean and really kind of break down what Fisker is trying to do with Magna, because I think that's an interesting strategy for them. Obviously, they're sprinkling the love around the globe because productivity is going to be an issue with a lot of these vehicles, especially as demand continues to get to a boiling point. And Tesla, of course, is leading the track in kind of pulling through a lot of consumers through to the electric vehicle world. We're going to continue to cover more of this here on Techpath. Especially as some of these stocks really make money moves right now, because they are definitely a lot of, when you look at all the surrounding companies, whether it's an In-Phase or companies like that, all the way down to a Blink or into the actual three-wheel companies, Arcimoto, Aero, etc. All of these have so many unique scenarios in terms of opportunity for buying, whether you're looking at stock acquisition or you're looking at something in terms of long-term investment, because EV is here to stay. A lot of what we're going to see in terms of how technology is advancing in the next few years, I think is probably going to surprise even us here on Techpath and where it's going to go. So make sure and stay tuned right here on Techpath. If you have an idea for a show, make sure and put it in the comments, or you can hit us up on email, just producer@revernetworks.com, or hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time on Techpath.